man, is he stupid. Like, impressively stupid.
Impressively stupid.
I think I just found the tagline for the show. Impressively
stupid.
Blue Curl Productions. Impressively stupid.
I like that.
For the peeps at home, I got a new dog. And he's running around the studio like a maniac. Because I think he's been asleep all morning. Because he's still got puppy energy. I think he wants down.
Is that a chip? Oh, no,
What?
It's like there's a spot in the floor that looks like a potato chip, and I thought that he was like trying to get to that.
Oh, no, it's just the fact that this floor is old and scuffed. Because I really don't. I moved the furniture and the set stuff around so unbelievably much that, like, it does scuff up the floors a little bit. But, like, we're going to redo this floor and everything else before that anyway. But
Before filming.
yeah. They're like, we're on tight time frames now.
Right.
And I'm super excited for what's coming up and, like, getting new equipment and, like, all the stuff and for Jake to be back.
Right.
But, like, I've noticed I'm in a weird space right now where I simultaneously have prepared all I can, but I can't start doing everything until Jake is back and we're able to actually film together again.
That's the way it is, isn't it?
In the meantime, another great friend of mine from high school is here.
See. Finally.
The amazing, the strong,
Don't be doing that.
the Hercules of a man, Malachi Carnes.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. As I hold this tiny puppy.
He's wild. He's a good puppy. Bring the mic just a hair closer to you. You can move the filter if you want. Yeah, there you go.
Is this better? Hello.
I was the last podcast I was yelling at Nico so much because it takes so much more effort for me to, like, fix all of this.
Right.
When someone's, like, 8 feet from the microphone.
I mean,
as opposed to just like I have to keep a larger distance than normal.
right.
But because I'm so fucking loud.
I feel like I am too when I want to be, but I try to be a little bit more quiet, so I'm not just like,
You
hey,
have better
how's it going?
You have better control of it than I do.
Right.
I'm just a maniac
That is also true.
who yells for the longest time.
And breaks chairs in public.
Man, I haven't told that story.
Well, now you have to. It had to be, like, you had to have told that story when, like, someone who was there was here, and it hasn't been any of the other people that were there that were here, so it has
No.
to be me.
Well, so in high school, that dog is gonna jump off the couch.
I really hope not.
Doggo. Okay. Back in high school, I somehow managed to gain the reputation of, like, the wild guy at a party.
One event gave you that reputation, and it didn't happen again.
No, I had
after
it
that.
I had it before this.
Well, yeah, true.
Because there was one party where I think the way it started was, like, it was just like someone's birthday party, and I decided to do a handstand on top of a trash can.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, and then I proceeded to vomit into the trash can.
Okay. Now I'm mad I wasn't there for that one. That one sounds better than the chair.
Meanwhile, the way it became prevalent with, like, our theater troupe and stuff was, we were at a party. I think it was either a Halloween bash or a birthday party or something.
Okay.
Because this person, she would throw parties all the time, and we would all go and stuff.
Right.
One party in particular, there was a lot of music going, and I freaking love to dance.
Right. As you do.
And I don't remember how it exactly started, but, like, the dancing, like, it started to include a bunch of chairs. And at one point I decided, I don't think I was heavy by this point. or like exceedingly. Like I wasn't at my worst weight.
When at the chair party?
Yeah, at this party.
No, I mean it was when we were like definitely not at the peak, but we were getting to the point of like losing a lot of weight.
You put a pin in this too because I want to come back to this. But I tried to do the Elvis thing where you like jump off the side, like go back, leaning the chair back, and then running off of it.
That was what your plan was for that.
That was the first one.
That chair was so old, there was no way it was gonna work.
And then I put my foot on the back, like the back end of the chair, and it just snaps.
Oh, I forgot you broke 2 chairs at that party.
The second chair I broke. I just was standing on top of it. And I think it was Bohemian Rhapsody or some shit.
It was definitely that. No, so the first chair was like, I remember that because it was that plastic chair. So that one was bound to break.
Yeah.
What are you doing? The dog's like climbing through the equipment. Come here.
Good doggo.
Don't do that. All right. So first chair is like a plastic chair. So it was bound to break by somebody. Like somebody was going to break this chair. The second chair was just really old antique wood.
Yeah.
So again, bound to break.
Yeah, but like, for the record, I think they found those chairs in the trash.
No,
I mean, offered to pay for the chairs after I broke them.
Right.
The second chair I broke, it was during Bohemian Rhapsody, and at the Galileos, I decided to just jump off a chair, like into people. Is he eating that cord? No.
He's all over the place.
Okay.
Stay here.
He'll tire himself out very quickly. But I jump off the chair, and the chair's bottom just like collapses from the force of my legs.
Okay, but like you're not explaining the buildup. So the buildup is like we're all listening to the song, like just singing along, enjoying it as the theater kids do.
And Bohemian Rhapsody is a song that really had like a good like vibe. It was one of the songs of our theater troupe.
Right. It was one of those where like it starts playing, you have to stop and like look at everybody, make eye contact, and then start singing.
Which I think that song is that for a lot of people.
But it's the fact that halfway through the singing, you like look at me and you're like, move that drink off that chair. I'm like, what? You're like, move that drink off that chair. So I'm thinking like the logical excuse, like, oh, you think somebody's going to knock it off. Let me move it to the center of the chair. Not let me take it off the chair entirely. So you were like, doesn't matter, going without it, and proceed to jump on the chair, break it in half, and the drink like blows up everywhere. So not only did the chair break, but it all happened in slow motion, and it was absolutely gorgeous to watch.
I feel bad. I offered to pay for the chairs, and they were just like, no, we got those out of the garbage. We expected people to break this shit or something.
It was one of those. They were like, yeah, we expected it to break, but it was going on pretty strong for a while, and then here comes John Michael, and then
Genevieve, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
I'm not. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't break it, but I'm not sorry.
I don't. Yeah, maybe I'm not sorry because it was hilarious.
You know what I love looking over to see? The dog, but also how your computer's just like on a solid bar.
Yeah, well, that's just because the waveform is like zoomed in in a weird way.
So we're not being too loud.
No, we're not. Like I have a limiter set, so we'll be fine.
But it wasn't the fact that you broke the first chair. Thinking that you could do the Elvis thing despite the fact that
I'm not Elvis.
Well, that, but also Elvis had like steel chairs, so it wasn't going to break. But on top of that,
See,
you proceeded to break another chair. And then you were like, you know what? Let me do this at prom in front of...
Oh, yeah, I did the same thing.
Because I have that on video of you standing on the chair in the Beetlejuice suit in the middle of prom. And I was like, oh, geez.
Dude, we had such... There are two things... I want to get back to the workout thing, but before we do, like, prom was like, it was awesome, but not for like the normal reasons that people like enjoy their prom or don't enjoy their prom or something. It's because me and you were both single at the time.
Right.
I think I had just gotten out of a relationship or something, and was not looking to ask someone else out. Don't let him eat that.
I'm like, why is my microphone moving? Like, oh wait,
there's a small. That dog is crazy.
The dog was so peaceful when I first got here.
Here, boy. Okay, but like I think I had just gotten out of a relationship. I was not looking forward to trying to even ask anyone to go or anything. I just wanted to be alone. You were also single at the time.
Yes, so it was definitely one of those like. Last prom, because it was our senior prom, we're like, we have to go.
Only.
Right, as it was mine. I was like, all right, we've never been to prom. Let's just go and tear up the scene. We'll try it. Sure. Why not? And
so we went to get like not together, but like as a no, we went to prom together.
I mean, everybody wanted to pretend like we went together, but we were just at the same time.
We were just chilling. We were bros hanging out. You know,
it was a Dumb and Dumber vibe of like 2 single guys showing up in the weird suits.
What? Yeah,
it actually was.
Yeah,
because I wore that blue blazer and you wore the like Beetlejuice suit.
Yeah,
like,
so I wore. I gotta find photos of this. I know I have a ton of them, but I wore a Beetlejuice suit to prom.
I swear I have. All right, you keep talking, and while we're talking, I'm gonna find this video of you jumping on the chair because I know I have it.
If you send that to me, I'll put it on. I'll put it up here in a second. But you wore like this like royal blue blazer. It looked like something the royal family would wear.
It's either that or something like a casino owner would wear. It definitely was like one of those that I'm like, I'm gonna wear this because it stands out.
Yes,
like I'll purposefully try to stand out.
And you know how I ended up with the Beetlejuice suit?
Because you wanted to do the hers.
No, okay, that's something else. But
oh, okay. I didn't know that was part of it.
We had a friend, Greg, great guy, love him to death. He's a fantastic actor too.
Very true.
Freaking, he said that he was gonna wear a pink suit to prom.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he didn't he? Or did he not?
He might have. If it wasn't like that's a pink suit. It was like
a normal pink suit.
Like it was right. It worked with him. It wasn't like out of the ordinary.
It was like something you could like respectfully wear to like a formal event but in my brain I'm going like, oh, this guy's gonna go all out. We're doing outrageous suits. All right,
let's do it. Right,
let's do it. So
did Greg go like as
no, he went.
Was he single or did he go with somebody?
No, he went with somebody, I think.
Okay, because I was gonna say like the single guy stepping out with the suits.
But in my mind, I'm like, all right, he's getting a pink suit. I got to get a ridiculous suit too. I have a unsatiable desire to one up everyone.
Yeah, you have to get the suit. You have to.
And I was also broke, you know.
Right. So it's like, let me go.
I was about to go to college, and so I was trying to save as much money as I could. So I was just like, suits are too expensive.
Right.
I'll just go to fucking Party City and see what they've got. And like, fun fact about me, I freaking love Tim Burton. Like, right. I love his
Who
movie.
doesn't?
Yeah. Like,
there's a lot of people who don't. Yeah. But I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, it's creepy, but
not everyone's into the macabre. But like,
right.
I love like creepy stuff. Freaking. So I found this Beetlejuice suit, and I was like, perfect. And I got that suit. I went and got that suit. That $40 is how much it cost. It came with like, I might be wrong. I think it came with like a balding wig with like white hair going everywhere, but I didn't wear that.
Well, I'm glad you didn't wear that one. We would have definitely. I mean, it was bad enough what we went in. Ow!
He's eating your toe now.
It was bad enough with like what we did go as, but if you had worn that, I think it would have been it right then and there.
Yeah.
Like we would have been. I know it's on Instagram.
I gotta bleep that name now.
Oh shoot, my bad. Yeah, I said it and I was like, shoot.
Yeah. But
I know it's on their Instagram of the picture of it, but I don't. I'm like finding all of our other crazy videos, like when we went to the hockey game on here, but I
forgot when we went to that hockey game. Because me and my mother both used to work for a a paper newspaper. So we would get these cool tickets to like sports events occasionally because like the press has a box with like they didn't always use it, so sometimes they would just give them to certain people or whatever. So we did that. What was I on about? There was a thing I was on about with the suit. Oh, but prom night. So after the prom,
right?
Me and you there's one other thing. When we were walking into prom, our prom was at like a
it was at a hotel.
Yeah,
I mean, as most
it was like a fancy like hotel or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Like it was something that it looked like the hotel from Ghostbusters.
That's a great way to leave it.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that fancy, but it was pretty
It was
fast.
pretty up there.
It was pretty nice.
And there was one dude in the lobby who was like actually staying there. And it was like an actual he looked like he looked like a senator or some shit, like something like very professional.
That's what I'm going to use like whenever I think of somebody professional. I'm just going to say he looked like a senator.
Like a senator.
Senator vibes.
He looked like he's a committed tax evasion at some point.
He's definitely committed tax evasion.
So I'm walking in, and me and you are in these ridiculous suits, and then this dude just puts out his fist and like is going for the fist bump, and I give him the fist bump, and he does the.
I do remember that. That's when I was like, this is either the peak of the night or this is the lowest point of the night. I was like, it's one or the other. I was like, I don't know if fist bumping like random politician looking dudes because of what we're wearing to prom is like a good thing or a bad thing. But you know what?
Like this dude is clearly wearing like some top dollar, like 10 grand fucking suit, and I came in here with fucking Party City looking ass.
But because it was striped, you were so much more
exactly. And it's like I have a knack for drawing attention, I've noticed.
You do have that, yes. Like this video I just came across when you downed a whole thing of marinara sauce.
Just looking through all of our...
I'm trying to find it because I swore I took a video of you jumping up on the chair because I was like, all right, nobody caught it the first time it happened. If you're going to break a chair, I'm going to catch it.
I wasn't going into it with the idea that I was going to break a chair.
I mean, in all fairness, those chairs were like a lot nicer and like really high quality.
I was not expecting it to break.
Well, the ones that did break, I knew would break. I knew it would break. When you jumped on it, I was like, it's gonna break. And sure enough, it did not last. Like it wasn't like you stood there and it like and then broke.
Well,
no.
I thought what would happen is I would give the illusion of going over the chair. Like I would jump and kind of knock the chair over, but like the second I like placed my foot against the back of the chair, it just snapped.
You were like gonna like half-ass jump over it, but it was still gonna look cool. But no, it just went through it.
Do you remember what happened the after prom though? What we did?
Oh yeah, that was the one. That was another situation where I was like, this is either the peak or the lowest
point of the night.
Because where did we go after? We went and picked up. Oh,
we went to your house.
It was my house. My parents like love to like make a ton of food that's like freezer food and then like save it and just microwave it because that's
and
how
remember,
we do it.
This is like 12 o'clock, 1 in the morning.
Right. So we were like, we're starving. I found the meme I made of the greatest chair break.
You gotta send me all these so I can put them on screen.
Yes. I will. Let me save this one to my phone and then I'll send you that one. So, yeah. So we're like, I've got burgers at my house. Let's go pick those up, and then we'll make burgers and like watch a movie, and that'll be our after prom.
You left out one key detail of you trying to get these burgers.
Oh, I was gonna get there. So it's super late at night. It's my parents are asleep, and it was one of those situations where I was staying with John Michael. So I'm like, I don't want my parents to know I'm here because then they'll know how late I stayed up. So I was like, all right, I'll sneak in through the back. So John Michael like cuts the lights off in his car and like slowly pulls up to the front of the house. And I like jump out and like sneak around to the back door and like carefully unlock it and walk in.
You were the Hamburglar.
It's my perspective, I guarantee, was not as funny as John Michael's perspective because he's sitting in his car and all of a sudden you just see me, which at the time, like, I had lost weight, but still my big ass running across the yard with like a container of burgers, just like, let's do this.
Like, let's go.
But it wasn't even like burgers, it was just like the patties. So it definitely was like a Plankton vibe of like, I'm running away with the secret formula. It was.
I just see you like hop over a fence or something. And just with this like Tupperware freaking box of hamburgers, and just start running across your lawn to my car.
Yes,
there it is.
It's got the school in the background, so you'd have to bleep that out. But that's what the suit looked like. So let me see. I should have a video.
I've got a ton of photos that I can throw up.
The whole prom was a piece of like. Our involvement in it was a piece of work.
There was one Do you remember what movie we decided to watch?
Oh, yes, because every time I see that movie now, not that I watch it all the time, but every time I see it, I think of that night. We watched Scooby-Doo, the live-action version of
the James Gunn written one. Or he had a hand in writing it or something.
Right. Which one was that?
That's the first one.
It was...
It's the first live-action
because I can never
Scooby-Doo.
remember the... I just remember there's the ones where they bring the costume to life.
That's the second movie.
And then there was, like, the, like, freaky dog-looking...
Dog. Doggo.
I don't know if he's chewing up something or if
I
he's
don't
just-
know either.
I can see him, but he's... I can't see him.
I'm going to admit, he's eating
Oh, no.
an HDMI cord, I think.
No, he's just sniffing. I think he might have been, but anyway. So it's the ones that have the dog looking dudes. That's just the way that and that one's my favorite solely from the comment that Scooby-Doo makes that I watched last night too, where he goes, "Ramburger, thank you," and he's like praying to the guys after they're like, "I got a bag of hamburgers here for you." Coming to the
That
forest
movie is
where no
great.
one can see.
I freaking bust out my VHS copy of Scooby-Doo. I'm going to go put him up before
You
he
definitely
eats
should
things.
before he tears something up.
Entertain the people.
How should I do that?
I don't know. I'll cut it out. If it's not funny.
Ouch!
Reveal any intimate secrets about me?
I revealed my last name.
I already said your last name.
Well, see, that's it. I sat there for a second. I was like, did I say that already? All I did was the ASMR, so I was like doing things. I was like,
Well, everyone's go-to is the ASMR. I don't know why. If I leave him alone, I also had to pee. So,
well, I started doing that and then realized that was a stupid idea. So then I was like, you know what? I'll just start discussing. Well, I was like, I'm gonna keep looking for this video. So I cannot find this video. I've got the video of
we'll
when we
find
went
it.
to.
We'll find it. We'll find it afterwards.
When we went to the arcade with everybody. It was like a theater arcade trip.
We would do
And
like
Jake-
our theater group was so like close knit. We would go everywhere and do everything together. You know.
There wasn't like, it wasn't one of those things where it's like, what friends do I know that we could do something with? It definitely was just like okay, we're doing this with these people, and that's just how it is.
We would say, all right, we're doing this activity. Who's going?
Right.
You know. But if you've never seen the live action Scooby-Doo movie, please do.
It's one of those things where it's like everybody watches it with the intent of thinking this is a serious movie.
Yeah, this is.
It's
a movie.
not.
No.
It's by no means. It is not a serious movie.
Well, I think the whole thing was that movie was supposed to be like a hard R like spoof on Scooby-Doo.
Right. Well, I mean, I think at first they had the intentions of making it like a legit movie.
Moments of it in that movie. Like there's one shot where they're in the van and there's a bunch of smoke, but then it pans down.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it pans down and it's the grill and they're cooking hamburgers.
It's like, but I mean, Shaggy has always had that like stoner vibes,
and I think they were really supposed to lean into like this, like the like stupid archetypes of those characters and stuff.
It definitely was like any what am I trying to think of? Like a Michael Myers movie. Not like a Mike Myers movie.
Mike Myers.
Right.
Mike Myers is a serial killer, I thought. Michael Myers is the actor. No.
Michael Myers is a serial killer. Mike Myers.
Austin Powers.
Basically,
Yeah.
yes. It's one of those kind of like how Cat in the Hat is one of my favorite movies just because of how stupid it is. And everybody's like, this movie's stupid.
Freaking
I'm like,
AC
exactly.
talked about that movie, like got me going on it last podcast. And I was just like, I can't stand it. It's and it's not even like a so bad it's good. It's just like a physically painful movie for me to watch. I should watch it on commentary.
I found it.
You finally found it, and I can throw it on screen now.
Yes. I mean, it's not much, but it's still you standing on the chair in that suit.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it with the intent of watching you fall and being like, yeah, because everybody would be on top of me at that point being like, please send me that video.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, yes, this is the way to be like with the cool kids. I got the video of John Michael falling on his ass at prom.
And I wouldn't care, you know, like
No, I right. And what makes it better is you wore that jacket the signing day for
yeah, we had like a stupid like signing day where you signed for whatever college you're going to.
Right.
And I wore that and like it was the next day.
Right.
Like,
and I like dressed up like nice and I was like, John Michael, please do not wear that jacket.
I was
I'm
wearing
like
like normal attire, but then I just put on the jacket. You know. I may have an attention-seeking problem. But that's why I'm on the internet.
Right. I mean, as you do.
All right, can we pull the pin out of this other thing I want to talk about, which is the fact that I owe to you my physical health.
Which now I'm hoping is a lot better than what it was in high school.
Yeah, because... so what's the year before senior year in high school?
Junior year?
Junior year? Freshman? Yeah, freshman, sophomore, junior. So my junior year in high school, I weighed about 300 pounds at my worst.
I didn't realize you were 300. So we were at the same weight.
Yeah, we were bad. The difference between me and you is you've got a foot of height on me.
Right.
And I'm a tall person, but you're like, you know how they say like it's something like some ridiculous number, like 50% of the people over like 7'5" are playing the NBA or something like that. Don't quote me.
There's not that much height.
I think I might be on my toes in that picture. Or I might be, I'm closer to the lens, so that's like a forced perspective.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
But I was just ridiculously overweight and unhealthy and not happy with my life. And then simultaneously, we were both super heavy dudes.
Right.
We both independently, this is how I remember it, we both independently started going to the gym.
Yeah.
And then it became like this weird silent competition between the two.
Oh, I feel like it both kind of started out as like a heartbreak kind of thing, which most people start working out with that. It's like you get your heart broken. All right, now it's time to beef up and like go to the gym and get shredded. So that was like the like idea behind it. It was one of those things where we were like, yeah, I went to the gym last night. And you're like, I went to the gym last night. It's like, I lost 5 pounds. You're like, I lost 5 pounds. Yeah. It's like, all right,
and we just
now
kept
it's
going. We just kept going, and I lost. At my best, I lost 120 pounds.
Yeah, but your mindset behind it was you were like, I just want to lose weight.
Yeah.
So you were pushing for weight loss. I was pushing to like try to get in shape.
Yeah, you were getting like muscle. Like you were getting some like Schwarzenegger shit going on.
Maybe not that far, but like, I was trying at least.
Like, you know that scene in Predator where the two where Arnold Schwarzenegger and what's the other guy? I can't remember his name. But when they do like the handshake.
Oh, what's his name? He plays Apollo Creed in Rocky, but what is his name though? I cannot remember.
Is it Jesse?
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers. What?
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm gonna look it up. But you know when they come at each other and just handshake, and it's like so much force of just two muscle bound dudes clapping and like.
It is Carl Weathers. I knew it. I was like, I'm gonna feel real stupid if it's not Carl Weathers.
Just coming at each other, and it's so hard it shakes the camera. Like that's what we were trying to achieve.
And then, but then, what makes it better is when they do that, and then they start having this like arm wrestle to be. They were like,
and it was becoming this thing of like, we were like building those neural synapses and stuff, and like getting really into going to the gym every day. And I still like going to the gym a lot, and like I'm in a much better health. 1, physically, 2, mentally. Because like just doing that really helped. That was such a amazing tipping point in my life,
right? Where
I was such like just a fat, angry motherfucker who hated everything and was such a cynic. To now, I'm like in marginally better shape than the cynic. You know, like no, but I've gotten a better attitude as it is. Like
No, you do. You got a lot better since.
Yeah. My attitude shifted from like, screw everything, the world's on fire, to, you know what? The world's on fire.
But at least I can jog out of it.
I got some marshmallows, though. So let's toast them.
What? Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard that.
Is
that like a saying, or did you just come up with that?
No, I think I said that at one point, and then a friend of mine put it on a t-shirt and sent it.
The world's on fire? But I got some marshmallows. And now all I can think about is a SpongeBob scene where he's like, can I borrow a couple of these? And he's like,
It's the, like, I really do owe you that as a friend, and just as like a major different point of like, I generally think becoming a better person.
No, yeah, I mean, I feel like it did good for both of us, but you especially.
Mhm.
Like, because I feel like that's why you were standing out at prom and everything was because you felt better about,
Yeah.
like, just everything. And I didn't realize, like, how out of shape we both were until I look back on those pictures. I'm like, damn, we look bad.
There's one behind the scenes photo of one of the last shows we did where I looked spherical. You know?
Yeah.
Like if you're in shape, round was my shape.
It was one of those where you don't feel like you look that bad, but then you're like, wow.
Well, the other thing that
was
like
rough.
when I sent like something to AC one like a year into like working out and stuff, and like I was like it was a shirt I got from going to like a conference for theater, that like fit me like decently, and I put it on now, and it's just like a tarp. It's like it looks
baggy,
like
right.
what's those things you get at like gas stations?
A poncho.
A poncho.
What's those? Not the fact that it was like, wait, what culture is that? It's like an actual like culture like.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like the plastic ones that are
right.
like,
But I just find it funny.
shitty and like you get it like 7-Eleven. You want to hear a story that happened this morning?
What?
Freaking, I don't know what it was. The freaking climate change or whatever, but there was a terrible storm last night.
Yeah, right.
Climate change, God's wrath, whatever you want to say, but there was just a ridiculous storm that passed through where we live last night.
I must have slept through it. I woke up and I was like, dang, everything's wet. I was like, did it rain last night?
So in the middle of the night, I woke up and was like, what is that noise? And I just hear the thunder rolling. Like it wasn't like a boom moment. It was just like a constant rolling thunder going on.
You were waiting on Chris Hemsworth to fall out of the sky.
Yeah, it felt like it. And like I kept seeing like flashes of blue light, and I'm fucking so tired right now that like I was just like, what? And then I see lightning strike, and I'm like, okay, it's raining. And like my bed's on like a wall, and like next to like the wall adjacent to it is outside, and there's like a rain gutter. And so I hear like the rain pouring.
Right.
So during like when I'm just starting to fall back asleep, I hear my power kick off. You know how you can kind of hear it kick off, like all the fans stop blowing, like the air conditioner.
It just gets really, really quiet.
Yeah, you don't hear like the constant hum of an air conditioner or something, or a heater or something, or
like TVs and stuff.
Mm-hmm, and like it goes pitch black as opposed to like there's the light from like an alarm clock or something. Right. So I'm just like, okay, the power went off. I don't care. I gotta go to bed. So I just went back to sleep. So I had a place to be this morning at 7 a.m. And I wake up I wake up late, essentially. And I look over my alarm clock and I'm like, 2 a.m, what? And then it occurs to me, oh crap, there's not a battery in that. So
you're like, shit.
I was like, it was 4 earlier. Why is it 2 now? And then it occurred to me, I was like, oh, I am late. So I had to shoot up. Luckily, I'm such like an overprepared, like, I plan for everything. So I'm the type of person that like sets a bunch of alarms on their phone. Luckily, I have like an alarm that's like an, oh shit, you're late alarm.
Oh shit, that's what you always do. You're like, I'm gonna set one for like 3 hours past when I'm supposed to get up, just so I get up eventually. And then you hear that one and you're like, damn it.
Yep. And I was like, oh crap. So I immediately made it there on time. But man, was it just like, and it was still raining when I left the house.
You're like Tokyo drifting there.
I was just like, I can't drive super fast because I can't see. It's just pouring rain. So that was my morning. That was stressful.
Very fun. Very fun.
So I got to go buy a battery for that alarm clock. Like it didn't
buy a battery and a poncho.
And a poncho. It would have helped, you know.
It probably would have helped. Yeah, definitely.
It was. I was so upset. I was just like, crap. I don't want stress first thing in the morning. You know,
that's the worst part about waking up late. Absolutely.
It's just like I can't even be mad because that's like some fate shit that happened. You know, the fact that I woke up, heard the thing kick off, didn't remember that would set my alarm clock back to midnight.
Right.
Then I go back to sleep and wake up to the wrong alarm, and then all the knowledge, just like hindsight, just flews back into me. Like, this is what happened, and now I gotta run out of the house.
Like a Home Alone moment when they're like, Kevin! You're like, shit!
Dude, when was the last time you saw that movie?
I mean,
Christmas?
What do you want me to say? Last week?
I don't know.
Christmas?
I'm legitimately asking, when was the last time you saw that movie?
I mean, I guess I watched it last Christmas. I don't know. There's a few movies that I'm starting to be like Christmas movies that I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to watch this one this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but the only one that sticks is freaking Jim Carrey's Grinch movie. That's the only one that I'm like, I have to watch this every year.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. Like, I think Home Alone is kind of becoming that for me. The one that I think got it worse, even though these are both great movies, Home Alone and this movie, but National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Like, I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to watch it this year because I've just, like, it's what we watched every single year, you know?
Right. That's my parents' favorite movie, so we would, like, watch it every year. And we only watched it. I don't typically watch it every year just because I'm like, I've seen it. I know it. But my girlfriend, she's never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So...
See, that would be cool.
It was one of those where it's like, okay, well, this is our family movie. We have to watch it this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you've never seen it. So we have to watch it. And so it definitely made it a lot more fun watching it because she had never seen it. But it's definitely one of those where it's like, yeah, I think it's all right.
Last year, we were all still in quarantine. So a bunch of my friends and stuff, we all hopped on Discord and watched Die Hard together. And it was...
that's pretty cool.
It was super fun. It was like... It's part of the reason I love... for some reason, I want to know, like, the psychological phenomena behind this, but, like, what is the thing about movies where you put one on, and it's always just, like, this is always a good option, is to just watch a movie, you know?
Oh,
whether it's, like, you're chilling with friends, you go on a date, it's the end of the night, or like you want to do this, or it can be super fun or super exciting or super chill.
Right.
I want to know what that is, because like watching a movie, we would watch pre-COVID and stuff when we were in high school. We would get together and watch horror movies some night, like a bunch of us.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was awesome. You know,
what was the one that we did? There was one that we watched.
It was a terrible movie.
It was like Sinister, or
it was one of those movies that like wasn't bad, but like it was just I walked away with it being like, all right, I'll remember a third of this movie.
I think it was Sinister.
Yeah,
I saw not too long ago that Sinister was named. Yeah, it is Sinister. Sinister was named the most like scientifically named the most frightening movie ever. Like, just based off like heart rate and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It was the one where the guy moves into that house. And he's a writer, and he's like moves into the haunted house to try and like, crap, what did he do? He was trying to learn the story behind like the family or something. I don't know. It was pretty freaky, but
when you say it like that, it just sounds like The Shining.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, like, what's the scariest movie you've ever seen?
Scariest movie I've ever seen?
Like, what's the one that freaked you out? Whether it's as a kid.
It was one of those that it was like not like mainstream horror movie. It was called Lights Out. And I don't know what it's just the concept of it that freaked me out. It was one of those where it was some like chick that got messed up in like testing.
Mm-hmm.
And so you couldn't, like, she was there in the light, but you couldn't see her. So she could only like appear in the dark. And it was one of those that it's, because I guess it's I've had those moments like waking up in the middle of the night when I was a kid, like you think you see something in the dark.
Mm-hmm. And
it was one of those movies where it's like, yeah, there is something in the dark. And when the lights turn on, it's gone, you know, but you're just praying that the lights don't go off again. I don't know. It was just the whole concept of it was definitely like freaked me out for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But The Conjuring's also pretty bad.
Conjuring's bad. The one that always freaked me out was, and it's still to this day that like every time I see the monster from this movie, it makes my heart drop a little bit, like involuntarily.
Okay.
Was The Exorcist. The little girl.
Yeah.
The little girl
I don't
from
know.
The
I haven't
Exorcist.
seen that one. Like, I've seen enough of it, or like seen enough clips and stuff to be like to know what you're talking about, but I have not personally seen it now.
Yeah, it's. I think it might be a combination of a few things. It's like specifically like the actual girl's like the way she looks when she's possessed kind of freaks me out. And like normally like the little girls at the wall at the end of the hall in The Shining don't really freak me out that much.
The Shining wasn't really one that like freaked me out. Like I was like, this is terrifying. It was just one of those that it gets in your head. It's like Blair Witch Project. It's like, you know, you
see, I don't like Blair Witch.
You don't like the Blair Witch?
No,
that's fair. That one's one of those that like nobody really liked. I think that's one of those that Stephen King, like,
that's not Stephen King.
It's not, but like Stephen King was saying, like out of all the movies that he's seen, the one that like freaked him out the most was Blair Witch. I think.
See, to me, it's like it's the same thing. I think I've ranted to you about Paranormal Activity too.
Yeah,
where it's just like I understand that these movies are supposed to be tense and they're building up,
right?
But if you're spending say those movies are an hour and a half, if you're spending an hour and 20 minutes building up your last 10 minutes, that last 10 minutes better be a really good payoff.
Right.
And I don't feel like either of those movies have a good payoff.
That's
like,
fair.
Blair Witch Project, the scariest thing you see is a guy standing in a corner.
But when I first watched that movie, because I watched it with my brothers and we like turned all the lights on, like had the TV like across the room because we were freaked out by it. That like freaked me out quite a lot because it's just one of those things where it's like, damn, why is he in the corner? And like as I've watched it since then, it's like, but it's one of those like the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, it's kind of creepy. Like,
what was there ever a movie that when you were a kid, like there was one scene that scared the shit out of you?
Dang.
I can think of two.
All right, let me hear yours.
Mine was the first one. The first time I remember actually being scared by a movie was the beginning of Ghostbusters with the librarian.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Because the way she jumps out and stuff, like that's
right.
That's cool.
Right.
Like now I'm like, that's awesome. But back then I was just like, when I saw that movie, that was the movie that was like, I saw this too young.
Yeah.
Because like watching it now, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of like smoking and drinking, sex jokes in this movie. Like this movie's a lot like. This movie's a lot. There's a lot more going on here than like my freaking child brain remembered.
Right.
The second one, I already forgot it. Shit. What was it? Damn it! It's gone. I hate my brain.
You'll get it back. You'll get it back.
Let me look at the wall.
There you go.
It's on here somewhere. I know.
I was one of those kids that like. I was like I wanted to watch horror movies, but at the same time I was like always a bitch about it. So I like wanted to see the movie, but at the same time I knew if I did, I wouldn't sleep for like 3 weeks. But one of the ones that I watched that like
I remembered it.
Do it before you forget it.
It was because my mom. My mother, I love her to death.
Great woman.
Not exactly the most comforting person, and
that's fair.
She was very like, I love her. But, like, there was a lot of times, especially with movies and stuff, where she's just not able to read the room. And I was like a kid. When did the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider come out?
I don't know. I don't remember. That's one of those movies I still haven't seen. There's a lot of movies, like, I need to see, but, like, I just haven't. And it's like every time I've gotten, like, sat down to, like, watch it, I didn't.
But
it's 2011.
2011.
Oh, wait, no, that's Ghost Rider 2.
That's the second one. So yeah, I thought it was earlier. Regardless, maybe
2007.
2007?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was decently young. The Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider, there's a scene where like he's first transforming into the Ghost Rider and like his face is catching fire and it's melting off like he did mushrooms or some shit. And it just burst into flames. My mother, who was like sitting behind me, right, decides to just jump the shit out of me like the and it freaked me out. And that wasn't necessarily the movie, but it was the fact that like she chose that moment to
It's one of those moments where your
me.
Heart rate's up.
Yeah,
it's like this is not the time to spook me.
Mm-hmm.
No, I feel you. That reminded me of like one of them was definitely in I don't remember which one it is. The Indiana Jones movie where it was it was where they were looking for the Ark, and when the guys opened it, like the Nazis opened it,
Yeah.
and, like the dude like melts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
that
the,
one definitely
Raiders
hit me
Lost
hard.
Ark. It's the
That
first
and
one.
like the Mask movie as a whole, Jim Carrey's Mask
Yeah.
movie. I don't know why, but
I remember that too, being a little freaked out.
as far as like non-horror movies that freak me out, those were definitely it.
Freaking the other day I picked up I got this collection.
Ooh, okay.
It was just at like Walmart or something. It was the Universal Classic Monsters collection. 6 movies. It includes the Bela Lugosi Dracula, Frankenstein, the Karloff Mummy, the Invisible Man, the Bride of Frankenstein, and the Wolfman. That's a good collection.
That's a good collection.
And that was like $20.
That's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm. I just knocked another DVD out of the back.
Nice.
I'm getting more and more into like the classic monsters stuff right now because I'm preparing for like Halloween and stuff and like
Right.
what we're gonna watch and stuff.
That's fair.
So I've been looking. It's like, do we want to watch some classic movies or do we want to watch like a slasher? Like going through all the different like gold, silver, bronze ages of or gold, silver,
Right.
modern ages of horror movies and stuff. And it's fun to watch the like evolution of those movies
Yeah.
where it was like in the early days in like the 20s to 40s, it was like very much like it was those monsters like Dracula, Frankenstein, stuff from novels and whatnot.
Right.
And then after World War II, it was just all science monsters.
That's fair.
It was all
Right.
like a creation that had gone bad, and
Right.
you know, like like kind of what Frankenstein played off, like who's really the monster or whatever.
Right.
Or like aliens a lot of
Yeah.
the time. Have you ever seen The Blob?
No, I don't think I've seen the Blob.
It's a pretty good movie. Like I watched it the other day and was like, oh, this is a pretty solid horror movie. It's just like the space monster falls, and then it just like it's this little sludge thing that starts dissolving people when it's basically the gelatinous cube from D&D,
Right.
where it's like dissolves them and adds it to its mass, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Right.
Spoiler alert for the movie: the way they like beat it is with like they freeze it essentially, and their plan in order to stop the monster, because they realize it's just gonna keep consuming people.
Right.
It's like, let's just put it on a cargo plane and throw it in the Arctic. And there's literally a line in this movie that was, you think that will stop it? It was like, as long as there's still ice in the Arctic. And
Solid.
now here's where this gets messed up. I watched that right after reading the the IPCC report, the most recent one,
Okay.
the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
Right.
Not a great time to see that.
Right.
After reading, it's like all this terrible, like, here's the effects of climate change that are happening, like whether we want them to or not. Let's not screw this over. And I could talk about that on a podcast all day long, because like I actually read some of the report, and it was like, and it's long. It's like, it wasn't even the full report of what they released, but it's like 1,400 pages.
Yikes.
Or like 1,100, something ridiculous. But there's like
Right.
a summary of like 60 pages that's like, here you go, policymakers who like can actually like change these things.
Right.
And as you know, as a hippie, I
Oh,
feel like that's required reading.
Hippie.
As a hippie.
I could see you.
I mean, the entire aesthetic of this show was tie-dye and bright colors and long hair and just being a... I'm surprisingly clean for a hippie, though, I think. I shower very regularly.
That's the only thing. And you don't smoke.
I don't smoke. But that's because my lungs are shot.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I feel like as far as horror movies go, I don't know. So there's one of the things that surprises me the most is the fact that like nowadays I feel like I'm like the movies are just going to keep getting worse. It's like once you get to a certain point where you've made like all the really good monsters and stuff like that, it's just not going to get any better. But
super shocked that like they tried with the Tom Cruise mummy, but like I'm shocked that Universal hasn't really tried to use those monsters again.
Right.
And I think it's because that Tom Cruise movie's bombed so incredibly hard and it was a bad movie.
It was not that great. I watched it. It was like it had its moments, but there was also, as like a whole, it's like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna watch this again.
Like I saw it with my girlfriend at the time, and even she was like, yeah, this was bad.
Yeah, it definitely. I'm trying to think of like movies that they've kind of. I mean, the only time they've like really remade Dracula was for Hotel Transylvania. But
no, there's like 30 Dracula movies.
Like I'm thinking like new.
But like recently, yeah.
I mean, they've pulled the whole vampire card, but they haven't pulled like a Dracula. Like,
yeah, Dracula was one of those characters that they redid like many a times for like a long time,
right.
And then like, but they haven't used them since. Same with like most of like the classic monsters, because I feel like I'll take that back. They made an Invisible Man remake. I didn't see it.
I saw it. It was pretty good.
Was it?
What was the whole like concept? Because I haven't seen the original one. What was the whole concept behind that?
The original Invisible Man is like, it's the scientist dude.
Okay.
Who and creates a formula that will turn him invisible.
Okay.
But he doesn't have a formula to turn him visible again.
Okay.
So he's kind of like losing his mind, trying to like regain his visibility while simultaneously like using the invisibility to like gradually like get more and more evil and corrupt and whatnot.
Interesting.
So it's like the power kind of slowly corrupting him as whatnot.
Right. Well, big spoiler alert. So the new one is like, it's a lot, because I was curious on like if it was similar. It's definitely not, because the new one is like there's this chick in a couple with like, you know, the like Bruce Wayne type, like I got all the money scientist guy, but he's like super abusive, and so she ends up like escaping from him. She like gets out of his house, runs away, tries to get away from him because she hates that relationship. And she ends up, it's like what is it? It's the ogre in Gotham. Do you remember seeing that?
Ogre in Gotham?
In Gotham? Do you remember seeing the Gotham TV show?
Yeah.
Do you remember the ogre? It was like the guy that...
I only saw like the first 2 seasons of Gotham.
Okay. I think it might have been in the first 2 seasons. Either way, it's like that type where it's like the rich guy who's like super like weird and abusive. Anyways, so she finally gets away. Well, he ends up creating the suit that like makes him invisible.
Okay.
And he ends up like haunting her down, but he like commits suicide. So it's like he fakes his own death.
He fakes his death.
And then like, so she thinks it's all good and she's safe. And then he ends up tracking her down and basically like, not haunting her, but like
there's an invisible man stalking
right,
me, you know?
And like taking pictures of her while she's sleeping and stuff like that, and like basically stating, because he said before, like he died, air quotes, that he would always find her. Like it doesn't matter what she did, where she went, he would always find her. So like the end of the movie, this is where the spoiler comes into play. The end of the movie ends up being they find the guy. Well, they find the suit. You know, she ends up killing the guy in the suit, which turns out to be his brother, because he like somehow got his brother into it. So it's like, oh, it was his brother, not him the whole time. Maybe he really is dead, and it's like, oh, he's trapped in the basement. It's like, okay, like,
yeah, you've lost me.
Okay.
It was cool when it was I'm not you. The movie has lost me at this point.
Oh, okay.
Like it's cool when it was the guy. Like that's kind of cool.
Well,
like, he's like this. It's like this commentary on like being a weird stalker dude, and then it's like, no, it's his brother.
Well, it was him the whole time, but like for the ending scene, he like managed to get his brother into the suit. So when he got caught, it was like, oh, it wasn't him. It was basically another trick to get out.
Okay, so it was another trick.
Right. So basically,
now
he
I'm
put
back
his
on
brother
board.
in the suit. He locked himself in his own basement, and they ended up finding him in the basement, being like, oh, it wasn't him. He's just been locked away this whole time.
Gotcha.
And then it ends up, the movie ends with the chick that was being stalked goes back to his house with him, meets with him, they have dinner. She steps away from the table, puts the suit on, and ends up killing him while wearing the suit. But it looks like on cameras and stuff that he committed suicide.
Gotcha.
And it's just weird. I don't know. It was an interesting concept. And honestly, the movie's not as bad as I'm making it seem, but definitely not like the old one.
I got why do I keep blanking today? I don't know why. I had a topic. My brain was like, this will play off what you said, and now it's gone. Okay, now I remember. Have you ever seen Cabin in the Woods?
Yes, I have. Great movie.
Yeah, that movie is also like it's a really good like critique on horror, like the horror genre. And I'm gonna be real, the first 2 acts had me going, this might be one of my favorite movies of all time.
That's fair.
Like the first 2 acts are fantastic, and they build such good suspense, and like I was on the edge of my seat, literally like being like, movie, where are we going with this?
Right.
Like this is a really good idea. And then it loses me.
Right.
It loses me at the very like the 3rd act, where it turns into this like Die Hard going through the floors action film. And there's some cool stuff in it, but like the effects are good enough, but it's not enough. But like up to that point, they were selling me at all times, you know, like I was in it. So it never, the ending kind of, that 3rd act takes me out of it. I will say the movie gets me back at the very, very end of the movie, where Sigourney Weaver shows up, spoiler alert.
Right.
And she was kind of like this person that was getting called on the phone the whole time and whatnot. And the very ending of the movie is just like a complete failure of these characters. You know, like I don't always like it when a movie ends with the characters failing. Right. There is its points, like we have our empires, we have our like stuff like that, where but most of the time it's like I need to balance it, like some success, some failure, or whatnot. That movie is one of those ones where it's like, this was great, except for this one chunk. Like when it turns into this action movie, I'm just not interested.
That's fair.
Like when it was like this coolest, like secret, like Illuminati type, like like secrecy stuff. Like I was really on board and really cool with it.
Right.
Bless you.
Like blow up the camera or blow up the like microphone by sneezing too loud. So it's like everybody's like closely listening. I was like,
are you a shirt sneezer? You sneeze into your shirt?
I always try, just so.
That's what I do.
I'm like, I feel like it's like, you know, I'll keep it to myself.
It's like
that's weird.
Like no one, don't touch my chest. Like it's
but like I hope nobody's like reaching. Anyways, no, too far. No, the movie like definitely is worth watching.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's one of those where you're like, oh, okay, it's a typical like creepy house at the end of the block, you know, teenage kids going to it for their vacation. Why you would pick to go somewhere like that on your vacation, I don't know. But it's like, okay, so like creepy house at the end of the block. Okay, wait, no, now they're being watched. Okay, wait, no, now it's like a simulation. Okay, wait, no, now it's like you keep like, whoa, wait a minute.
You keep getting added to like this mystery, and not only like a mystery of like what these characters are doing, but also like it's such a good like remix of like every horror stereotype, you know?
Right.
Like the fact that horror movie stereotypes are a thing plays a crucial part to that movie. Right. You know, like the standard like hoary character, or like the jock, or the like the shaggy stoner dude, you know?
Right. And that's what makes it interesting, like at the end when it's like it's all sacrifices for this god, and it's like, wait, hold on, huh? And then you like think back to it and you're like, dang, it's like that's kind of interesting. Like, but it's
really good, but like it's like I said, it's just that one chunk. I feel like it tonally is just different from the rest of the movie. Like I feel like if it was slightly different in execution, like you could do the same idea, but the execution was slightly different, because it is kind of cool to see all of the like various like, this movie pays homage to so many classic
right, which like, that's where I got upset, was when they let them all loose. It's like, well, dang, now we've like, I wish I could have seen like a sequel where they used a different monster.
Yeah, I like actually.
Zombies was like a definitely. Like, out of all of the ones that they had in their, like, arsenal, if you will, those were not the ones that I would
Those were the least interesting.
Right. I was like, the zombies kind of stink.
Like, there was the Hellraiser dude with, like, the saws in his face. There was freaking... There's, like,
they had, like, murder bats, and, like, I was like...
There's, like... They paid much stuff like Left 4 Dead 2. There's, like, a bloater in the back, in, like, one of the cells at one point.
Touched on to everything that's ever been created.
There's a scene that replicates something from Fear, the video game. Like, it's so clearly that the people working on that movie were so unbelievably into it. Like, it was so much like a we want to do this. And I got to give it props for that. And I still think it's a fantastic movie.
Right. But it's still the fact that they picked, like, that's what frustrated me when they go down, like, into this underground base where it starts showing everything. I'm like, there's like a basilisk and everything. And I'm like, you guys picked the freaking zombies for this? I'm like, come on.
The hillbilly zombies.
Right.
Like
Yeah. It
like a kind of hills have eyes situation.
Yeah. I was like,
you know. There. Do I want to? Yeah, I'll say it on here. I had an idea for a horror movie that was like kind of in the same vein for that. And I still really want to make it one day, and I really like the idea. But like, imagine for a second that monsters are real, like our reality,
Right.
but monsters are real.
right.
Then you take the stereotypical like survivor of an end of a horror movie.
Okay.
You get a bunch of those characters, and then you put them on a team that hunts monsters.
Okay.
So you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know how every horror movie has a survivor at the very end,
Right.
You know, like stereotypical, like it's either the nerdy dude who's like now super badass, like Evil
Right.
Dead or whatever, or like it's the girl or
The
like
blonde
whatever.
chick that somehow manages to
Mhm.
squeeze her way out of it. Yeah.
It's take those characters,
Okay. So now it's like a survivor.
and
like,
now it's like in the
tournament of the champions. Yeah.
it's like, well, now you know monsters are real, so we can't just like let you out in the world.
right.
You know, but you could come kill some vampires and shit with us, like Blade.
Honestly, I feel like that'd be like a really cool movie.
Mm-hmm. And like, I got the idea from, you remember Night Trap, the video game? Watch out behind you, Night Trap.
Yeah.
Like that, because like there's a lot like Cabin in the Woods where like there's like you're watching video cameras and like these monsters are coming about and stuff.
Right.
That movie has like that game has a lot of like significance to like the creation of the ESRB and stuff and whatnot,
Right.
because it was all like filmed footage and stuff.
Right.
But then like there's one scene in like a bathroom where like a girl's wearing a robe or some shit, and then this was the 90s, so parent or maybe 80s, and parents were like, no, like this is America. We have gun violence but no boobs.
Yeah.
That's how we work.
We have gun violence, but no boobs.
America's tagline.
That's a very interesting tagline.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say it's wrong or right, but
I mean, yeah, like we arbitrarily kind of chose like what we allow to show. Every country's done it, and every country has different standards for what they do. Shut up, phone.
but I feel like
Jeez.
now, like that's the way it used to be, but now it's like the exact opposite. Like Netflix came out, and now every Netflix original, they're like, all right, it doesn't matter what the story is, we have to include someone not wearing clothes at some point.
Have you seen? There's that one show that like a clip of it was going viral for a little bit, where it was just like it's one scene of a dude. I don't know the context. I don't remember the show's name or whatever. But it's just a dude who like turns the camera. He's just got a freaking massive dong.
Oh yeah, I know. I thought I knew what you were talking about, and then I was like, I think I know what he's quoting, and then yeah, I do.
I think that show is specifically like a sex type show where they're like that's kind of one of the main.
I want to say the show's
plot
called like
points.
Sex City or something. Because I was very I was like, this isn't on Netflix, is it? And I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, it 100% is.
And now everyone's trying
And
to figure out like, is that real or is that a prosthetic like Boogie Nights?
Yeah, yeah.
What?
It definitely, it's just too much. Like I feel like some of the like new Netflix stuff it's just, I don't know. It's like you're like invested in the story. You're like, okay, this is pretty good, and it's like, oh, and now they're naked. It's
Some
like, okay,
shows do it really well, actually.
right.
Like,
No, they definitely like do pretty decent when it comes to like trying to
mhm.
like include it in
Have-
a way to where it's part of the story, but it's not like, hey, we just wanted to do this, and now all of the like perverted kids at home will like
Mhm.
want to watch the show. It's
If you're gonna turn the mic that way, you got to turn like to where it's facing you. That way, yeah. There you go. Because it's like
Hello?
sideways now, and
Can you hear?
no.
Sorry.
Do you remember? Like everyone, I'm gonna be fed. Every guy has that. Every straight guy has that moment where it's like you remember one scene in a movie where you're like maybe it's the first time you saw a boob or something, or like the first time you saw it on film.
Right.
Like the thing that comes like always comes to everyone's mind is Fast Time at Ridgemont High, where she's like coming out of the pool and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you have that moment? Like, do you remember?
Trying. Like the second you started saying that, I was like, all right, I need to think of what mine is because I know he's gonna ask. I don't.
I remember mine.
Okay, tell me what yours is because it'll probably.
It's another. I think it's National Lampoon's Vacation, like just straight vacation, not Christmas or European or anything. But there's a one scene where they parody Psycho, and he rips up the shower and just like
right,
and does like the stabbing motion, and right there is when like you see the boobs, and my brain was just my younger brain was like, oh, this is different.
Oh. Okay,
yeah.
I'm with it. I'm with
it. I get it.
It would. I mean, I don't remember a movie exactly, but it had to have been. It was either a horror movie. No, it had to have been like a horror movie.
Yeah, horror movies did it all do it all the time. Like we had like there was a whole era of like the sexploitation and exploitation gore films, whatever, where it was like you either sold a movie with like sex violence or gore or something, you know.
I do know
what,
because I rewatched the movie not too long ago. It was 300.
Okay,
so like when he's with his, but like for it like prefaces the whole. It's like a sex scene in the movie, but it prefaces the whole scene with just like Gerald. How do you pronounce his name? It's like Gerald Butler or something.
Don't.
It prefaces it with like fully showing his ass, and you're like.
And if memory serves, that's a substantially long scene in the movie.
It was when I was watching it as a kid, I was like, "Ooh, this is not," because we had it on DVD for some reason.
Like that's one of those movies you like end up watching with your parents, even though that's you for some reason end up watching that movie with your parents, and then it gets to that scene, and you're just like, "Well, now
this is
it's awkward."
Right? I don't know, for the whole movie. I don't know. I've never been a fan of them adding stuff like that to action.
I don't want to be hard in the same room as my dad. You know?
Yeah. Now you made it weird.
Well, that's that. I made it weird. I blame Zack Snyder.
That's fair. No. So I've never been a fan of like them adding things like that to action movies, which is why I love John Wick so much because it was just all action.
Yeah, there's no like
except the second movie. They kind of started to add it when the chick was in the pool. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, but they don't even show anything in that movie.
They don't.
That scene, dude.
No, they don't. But they were hinting towards that. But I don't know. In horror movies, I get it. Like in horror movies, it's like, all right, like in
you gotta see, like
it's in like every Friday the 13th
you gotta
movie.
sell it,
right? No, you have to have like the teenagers in like a super like disgusting old house that their grandparents own for some reason, and they're like, oh no, we have to get freaky here for whatever reason. But no, I know you're right. Every like slasher had like the tropes, you know, like one of the things that like I think blows a lot of people's minds is Friday the 13th. Jason doesn't put on the hockey mask till like halfway through the third movie, right?
You know. And I always point that out to people, and they're like, "What? No," because like I always remember, like yeah, you've probably seen like part 4 or something.
You've seen like the new remakes,
yeah, or that one, or like freaking you remember like we have this like there's so many of these movies you're bound to have seen one, and more than likely one of them is the one that had the hockey mask in it, you know?
Right?
Especially because like in like October stuff that like they're always on, you know?
Right.
Like, was there ever, you notice, like, do you have cable still? No, yeah. I have it solely because it comes with my internet.
Right.
And, like, they package that together for no reason, but I also get HBO Max for free.
Whoa.
Yeah. By the way, freaking, are you subscribed to HBO Max? We're not sponsored or anything, but, like, I'm gonna make that very clear. But
and now a word from our sponsor.
No, we are not
HBO
sponsored.
Max.
We are not. I have to I have to actually press a button if we have a sponsor to tell like the platforms and stuff that like there's paid promotion in this video, or else like we get in trouble.
I do not have HBO Max. Now I have like my parents have like Spectrum, so like I have HBO. Like I can watch HBO, but not like HBO Max.
HBO Max might be my favorite streaming service right now.
That's fair. There seems to be a lot of really good stuff on it.
Its catalog, like we all make fun of how Netflix's catalog has just gotten shittier and shittier the past couple of years.
Other than like Stranger Things and the Punisher series, yes.
Yeah, and that like Stranger Things has one more season, and the Marvel shows are done. You know.
Yeah. Let me.
So like,
keep talking. I'm gonna see if there is.
They've got the Avatar series, Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra. That's a good plus.
That's fair. The Cobra Kai series is really
Cobra Kai. That was a YouTube Red thing back when that was a thing. But the HBO Max has the greatest like lineup of stuff.
Right.
I've seen in a long ass time. Like I'm very shocked. Like
actually, I'm gonna pull.
I thought Disney Plus's catalog was great, and then HBO Max came out, and I was like, "This is amazing!" Like stand out. Like I'm gonna pull it up real quick just to like.
No, that's what I was doing. I was like, I feel like I lost my mind when I finally got Disney Plus because I was like, it's every Disney movie.
Yeah, like I don't have to break out a VHS to watch this movie anymore.
We'll just do movies. Let's see. All right.
So HBO Max.
Ready Player One.
Okay, that's
Birds of Prey. 28 Days Later.
What
else?
Like what else?
That's what it's got as their like hit movies. Now it's got like other things like the Matrix trilogy.
Okay, that's pretty solid. I think that's also on HBO Max.
I don't know if it's like the whole Fast and Furious or if it's just got the first one. The 40-Year-Old Virgin. That movie is actually pretty funny. I don't. There's definitely a lot better than it's telling me right here. Why is it telling me just this?
Maybe it's just the recommendations suck.
It's saying
Breaking Bad is on there. Like that's the reason for it. But like HBO Max is freaking got. It's got the HBO catalog. It's got DC, Turner Classic Movies, Adult Swim, Studio Ghibli, Cartoon Network, Sesame Street, Looney Tunes, and Crunchyroll. I'll give it this: the Crunchyroll section is actually bad. Like their anime section is like there's some good shows on there, but like I think we counted it as like there's like 20 shows or some shit like that. Like it's not a lot.
Trying to see. It's got the Friends series.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm gonna scroll. So this is the top.
Okay.
This is how many like what their anime section looks like, and that's it. Yeah, it's not a lot, but like it's also got the Ghibli movies. So
anime is the one thing I've never been able to get into. It's got both Scooby-Doo movies.
Oh shit! Never mind. Best streaming service, Netflix.
No, I'm looking at HBO Max.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean,
I like Disney.
Rick and Morty, although I couldn't get into Rick and Morty. I tried.
I haven't finished their most recent season,
Robot Chicken,
but it's been kind of if I'm gonna be real. Like it's been okay.
Right.
There's a couple really good episodes that like parody like Captain Planet and Voltron and stuff.
Right.
But, like other than that, like nothing particularly like appealing to me.
I've been wanting HBO Max for the sole purpose of seeing the new Space Jam movie. I just haven't seen it. I don't know why.
I haven't seen it either. The trailer did nothing for me, nor do I'll probably commentate it or something.
I mean, it looks like the same thing as the old one, just LeBron James and probably like really bad.
It's like they're under the impression that Ready Player One was like a critically like successful, like a majorly successful, like the movie made money, I think, but like that it was like this grandiose, like everyone loved the movie, you know?
I feel like out of the like video game and movie dorks, it was fantastic, but out of like people as a whole, they were like, I don't get it.
As a movie, not great. As a referencing other shit, yeah, you did great. You did a great job of that. It's a great movie for Easter egg YouTubers, you know?
Right.
It's like, look here and there, and I don't know.
I think I more or less liked it because I really want that to be like real. Like I want them to be able to do some VR.
You want to live in a virtual world?
No, I don't want to live in a virtual, but like it would be cool to do something like that. Like,
yeah.
You don't think so?
No, I think the whole point of the movie was like, this is a bad idea. Also,
it's like when everybody's like, I want dinosaurs, and then Jurassic Park comes around, you're like, well,
I haven't read all of it, but from what I've seen of Ready Player One, the book, It's not that great.
Is the book not that great?
Yeah, that's what I've heard from a lot of people.
Right.
I've read very little of it. And what I read, I was like, you know. And some people go by like it's one of the worst books they've ever read, you know.
That's fair.
So like,
I'm just not seeing this. You have the Cat in the Okay, is this like the
He's
Cat in the Hat you have? Is that like the
he's looking at my movie wall, and the cat you're talking about the VHS,
right? Is that the original?
So that's the animated movie, and then the Michael Myers movie.
You have it on VHS.
Yes.
That is probably like.
Do you not see the wall of VHSs I have?
I do, but I was thinking, I'm like, oh, it's the like animated, the original Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, one of them is, and then
not
next
the
to
Mike
it.
Myers one.
No, one of them is the animated Cat in the Hat, and then the good one, and then the other one is the Mike Myers actor.
Don't say Michael Myers. That must be the worst thing, trying to be like a famous actor, but your name is the same.
Luckily, I think he was famous and stuff and in stuff before those movies came out, or maybe right around the same time.
But it doesn't matter. So you still peg it as like you're like Mike Myers, and they're like, in the serial killer? Like they're gonna put the serial killer ahead of like Austin Powers.
Yeah, for anyone who is interested in like collecting stuff but doesn't know where to start, go to a Goodwill or like your thrift store of choice and just start get an old VCR and then find VHS tapes because they're cheap. I've collected a lot of things over the years. I've collected games, I've collected comics, I've collected movies.
If you can find the
cheapest of those is VHS and DVDs.
VHS players are like super expensive now, though. Like last I checked it, they were like $700-800 for the low end ones.
No, you can find one at like.
I mean, you can, but if you find it, make sure it's good quality.
Yeah,
definitely keep it because it's probably going to be worth a lot.
That might be a VHS like transfer machine, which like those can go for a bit, but like VHSs themselves. You can get like
the VHS. No, the
get them at $1.
Yeah, but like I'm thinking like VHS player.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, let me look this up.
I picked up a few 8-tracks too, even though I don't have anything that can play them. I almost got there was like a dresser that had one built in. I'm like, I don't want to buy a whole freaking dresser to be able to play these, you know?
Right.
But like, I don't know. I just like the visual of having like a bunch of movies on a wall that like can be behind me and stuff, and then also like a friend can come over and like just pull one off the shelf and be like, "What is this?" And I can rattle off.
That's what's funny. I feel like everybody's like, "Why are you wanting to buy a DVD of that?" Just because I'm trying to collect DVDs, and they're like, "Why do you want a DVD of that? Just watch it on Netflix." I'm like, because it's cool to have the DVD.
Cool. I get it. Like digital is very convenient, and I'm gonna be real. If I have a movie on the wall, but it is on like HBO Max or something, I'll probably just watch it on HBO Max. But I like having it there, you know.
It's just funny because it's like when the Wi-Fi goes out and you want to watch freaking Iron Man, don't come crawling to me.
When you want to watch 8 of the 12 Friday the 13th movies,
right? You're gonna look real stupid now, aren't you?
I hate that I picked up that collection, and it only has 8 movies in it. Like there was at least 10 mainline. And
you know what's funny is that you're saying they only have 8 movies, and here I was thinking, I'm like,
no, there's
8, and you're like, no, there's
12.
Right, you're like, there's 12. I'm like, there's 12.
They stopped one short of the 13th, you know. But no, Friday the 13th has 12 movies. It's freaking 10 movies. Then Freddy vs. Jason, and then the 2008 remake. You know.
Yeah.
For some reason, this collection only has the first 8 up to Jason Takes Manhattan, which I guess makes a little bit of sense because that movie is like kind of the end of like it is if you're gonna watch Friday the 13th movies, either watch like the first 4 or like 4 through 8, you know.
Yeah,
because that's like those are both like complete arcs for those movies. Right. And then like Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X are just like complete B movie nonsense, but they're so much fun to watch, you know. Like Jason X is I hesitate to say movie But it is something that was filmed and released.
Oh, jeez.
You know, but I like that kind of stuff. I like dumb. I watched Reefer Madness the other day. You ever seen that?
I have not, no.
Reefer Madness was it's public domain now, so you can find it anywhere for free. But it was a movie that was made by a church group.
Okay.
To discourage marijuana use in like the 40s or 50s, and it is hilariously bad. Like it is what everything you think and someone in the 50s thinks marijuana is. You know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, it's this drug that's gonna make you like violent and like go crazy and like have sex with everybody. It's like, no. It's like the entire movie. There's like a moment where a guy gets hit by a car, and then it turns into like this freaking like, you smoked weed, therefore you didn't know you think that you committed a crime that was committed by another dude, so you're going to jail for a crime you didn't commit, but you think you did because you were out of your mind on pot.
I mean, I could see them getting away with it with like shrooms or like acid, but maybe not with pot.
No, because this was like a fucking. They didn't give a shit. They were probably on acid when they made the movie. That stuff was like their NyQuil. You know, like this was when they were doing coke for like weight loss,
right?
And freaking this movie comes along. It's like the worst drug on the planet is the marijuana. I think it also had like a title. Like I think the movie was like bounced around. It was punted, I will say, from person to person, whoever wanted this movie. And one of the titles was called "Tell Your Children."
Oh, jeez.
Like, it had multiple different titles, but, like,
right.
Reefer Madness is the one that everyone calls it now. Like, it's called Reefer Madness. Like, it has the 50s all over that movie.
Right. Who says reefer anymore?
Exactly. It does blow my mind, the amount. You like Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When did it occur to you that Mary Jane was another name for pot?
Now.
Right here. Right now.
I didn't know that.
That's a thing. Like you could fill a book with this, like the synonyms for marijuana. You know.
With the synonyms.
The synonyms. Get a thesaurus.
We should definitely try and name them all right here, right now.
Okay, you got reefer, grass, fucking Mary Jane.
You got the devil, isn't it?
Devil's lettuce.
Yeah.
Freaking there's other pot terminology, but like hash. No, that's something different. Well,
I was just kidding with it, but let's do it.
No, fucking, I'm gonna Google this shit.
All I remember is booger sugar, which is cocaine, which is a completely different thing. But still, like that's one of those that I was like,
for
should we talk about our B movie that we like?
So
B-rated movie we want to try and make.
No, actually, because like with what me and Jake are planning in the future, we could make that movie.
We definitely could, but it's just, yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever thought about how hard of a word marijuana is to spell? Because I am now. Well,
I saw a TikTok about that. It was like a cop who made a TikTok. He was like, everybody thinks that being a cop's not that hard, but it really is, because we have to spell words like this, and he like held up papers of like really poorly misspelled like words like marijuana and.
I'm just gonna put pot.
I think he did cocaine and like some other stuff.
It's just giving me like the Tupperware. Like, fuck you, Google. You know what I'm trying to say.
Tupperware? How did you get into that?
Because I couldn't spell marijuana, so I was like synonyms for pot, and then it was like, here you go. I was just like,
oh, like synonyms for like a pot.
For like a pot. Screw this. Screw this bit.
This bit.
It's a bit. That's what we do here.
Yeah.
We do bits. minutes.
See, I thought you had like, when I was like listening to your old podcast to get an idea of like what I was getting myself into, I definitely was like, oh, so he's got like a general idea of like what he goes off of, like how you and Jake do like your favorite of
Me and
different
Jake
things.
did those because we couldn't like bullshit. Like we recorded all of the pre-recorded stuff in like 2 or 3 weeks, or like 4 weeks before he left.
Right.
And we had to get like one done for every month, so we were just like, fuck it, let's do some top 10s. I like movies, I like fucking superheroes. What else are we gonna talk about? Like we like there's a point where like when we're talking into the mics and stuff, like we talk and like we're able to just go off like, here's what, like eventually I run out of stories of what happened in the past 2 weeks, you know? Like I keep a list on my phone of like stuff that I specifically want to talk about on the podcast, because I'm like, this will make a good story. Like this was a funny situation that
I mean, I wasn't worried about it at all, because I was like, me and you have countless things that we talk about, like future wise, like ideas, as well as like things that have happened. Like we could talk for days about our different experiences, like when we got ice like when we got snow cone ice and decided to put our like body armor, like
we had just left the gym,
drinks in it, and it was a horrible idea.
Bad idea.
It ended up on the front of my car.
Good idea in hindsight, or in the moment.
Or like when we walked around the graveyard, like talking about catching up.
That was fine. No, we didn't just two dudes catching up in a graveyard.
Or when we went to your comedy show, and there was that guy that like completely bombed.
Yeah, I think about that guy sometimes.
I feel bad for him. We need to explain that story. Okay,
no.
John, what do you mean?
I still go to that club sometimes.
Okay, we won't talk about it. We won't talk about it.
No, it's just like I go to I go do stand up a lot of the time, because it's good practice for this. It's good. I like being on stage. I like making things. I like writing. I like doing all this kind of stuff. And frankly, like I put a lot of work to like make something funny when it's something written. This is all improvised. Like I just say shit, you know. And sometimes like a gold nugget will fall out of like my diarrhea mouth.
Okay.
But like a lot of the times when I'm writing something, I put a lot of work into like the timing and the pacing, and like, is this funny? I'll run it by some people. There was this one guy who very clearly just didn't prepare for anything.
Well, he kind of was prepared, but at the same time, it was like he had somebody go right before him who was fantastic.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Really good at like what he did. He made like really funny jokes, and he was talking about like.
And I am no stranger to blanking on stage. It has happened, and it kills the mood. But like a lot of the time, it's like if you can find a way back, that's good too. But like, I'm not a comic. But I just like doing it, you know.
It's just it's practice.
It's fun. It keeps those theater muscles going, and it gets me on a stage. Granted, it was real hard to do that last year. There was nothing open, and not that I was gonna go to it if it even had.
Right.
But maybe I should. That would be good on TikTok or something if I got some clips going or something. Maybe
you have a TikTok?
Yeah.
Do you post on your TikTok?
No.
Dang it. I was so excited. I was like, I'm about to watch all John Michael's TikTok.
Here's the thing. We are going to be soon.
Okay.
This is one of those things where it's like me and Jake have so much stuff planned. The problem is he's in the middle of the country on a military base. Freaking, he's off. I guess I can update this now because he'll be back in a couple weeks. Jake has passed all of his like final exams. All he has left to do is to be shipped into the middle of the woods for a week with his like platoon, squad, team. I don't know what they call it. I'm a hippie, not a soldier. And then they do like that like in-field training stuff, and then they chill for a week, and then they ship them. They graduate and they ship them home. So that's where he's at right this second. It's probably even later than that by the time this comes out. Hopefully this will be out fairly soon. After that, he comes back, and we've got something really special planned for October that I'm very excited about. That I'm pointing at.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So That's gonna be cool.
That I'm pointing at.
I don't want to say it yet in case something terrible goes wrong or something. Not that it will, but like, and then after that, we've got like some really cool stuff planned, and I'm super excited. I get to make shit again. You know, I get to be in the same room as my friends, and I get to make stuff. Last year was so unbelievably terrible from like my creative. There's like my health, my mental health, and my creative mental health. All three of those just went so unbelievably poorly last year, as it did for most people.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm surprised that you, like, I definitely was like, oh, John Michael's about to be, like, creating so many, like, little things in his basement. Like, just
I still do that.
Like, every time I came over to your house, there was something new. You're like, oh, I'm trying to work on this freeze gun. I'm like, freeze gun? I'm like, who the hell are you?
Nah, it was a good idea.
I didn't say it was a bad idea. I just said you were working on a freeze gun.
In another life, I would have been an engineer I would be making, freaking, one of those Hacksmith type channels or whatever, where just, like, making real superhero shit. Right. But, like, I'm in this life where I took theater classes instead of science, and then now I draw things and talk a lot.
Here we are.
And now
what's wrong with that?
I'm not soft spoken, you know. It's one of those parallel realities things.
See, what we need to do is you need to start doing a gaming channel. So like you need to do a podcast.
I've done a few live streams with folks and stuff. It's like it's fun, but like I also like I would have to have a really good idea with it.
We need to do Payday again. Remember when me and
Payday is one of the greatest.
Payday, but we got absolutely like bombed by it.
I don't know. I've got so many projects right now. The last thing I need is another one. I just said no to something for like the first time,
right? Because
I was like, I have a problem with like not saying no to projects. So like, I have a problem not saying no to projects. So it's like I just keep piling stuff on my plate, and then everything suffers. Right. So I've had to learn what to say no to and what not to.
Right.
At the same time.
I feel that.
I have no idea how long we've been going for.
I don't know. I don't
know. I'm gonna quickly just lean over. I just gonna look at the thing.
And now a word from our sponsors. Mike Wazowski. Thank you for the
Mike Wazowski.
I was like trying to think of an idea and like looked around the room and I saw like your little figurines.
Dude, I've got so many freaking Skylanders and Disney Infinity figures because that's when I was a kid. I'm cleaning shit out right now.
Just finding shit.
Yeah, and those were like, I think I just cleaning those out. I was like, oh shit, this is where the collecting came from. This is where it started. Is figures. Oh.
Every time I see Mike, I think of like the like meme where somebody had like a key, right, and it had like his face on it, and it was Mike Wazowski, like house. I was like, that's the best.
Mike Wazowski.
I laughed way too hard at that, and I was disappointed in how funny I thought that was.
Fun fact about the Monsters Inc. VHS: I bet you can look at that shelf and tell me exactly which one it is.
You would think that, but yet I can't find it.
It's the blue one.
Oh yeah.
And the orange one is the Rugrats VHS. There's a handful of like they would change the color of the plastic.
Right.
You know, so Nickelodeon had some of the like the orange ones. I think the Rugrats was the one that was like the most prevalent and whatnot.
Right.
But if there's anything else you want to talk about, now's your time.
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
I mean, other than talking about like old stories that we used to like, stupid stuff we've done in the past, like when we tried to have a movie night in your car.
That was awesome. What are you on?
No, it was awesome, but it was definitely interesting getting it together, and I definitely thought what we were using to like make it happen was gonna blow up in your car.
Yeah. See, this is one of those things about me building so many stuff. It's like I know how to jimmy rig. That's part of the reason this podcast works is because I know how to break things in the right way to make sure they work.
But it was like a super, like I had a power cord like sitting on my lap the whole time while I'm like eating pizza And Curtis was in the back with that like big like chocolate pizza thing.
We did a movie night where we built a drive-in theater in my car. So the projector shined through my screen in onto the wall.
But this wasn't like hey, we bought that cool new like tiny little projector on Amazon. No,
it's like what I had.
Super old projector. We used
it's not. That's good projector I got.
No, I didn't say it was bad. I just said it was like an older projector. And so it was like it was a big projector.
Mm-hmm. No, it was very large.
Right. So we also had your like DVD like VHS combination player. So it wasn't like a tiny DVD player. It was like
it was a VHS player and a DVD player.
Right, so it was this big, like, chunky thing, like, in your car.
It was not streamlined at all.
We had to, like, run power out to your car as well.
Because I didn't get the battery thing set up. Because, like, the idea, it was the early, I wanted to build it all in my car.
Oh, I forgot about that. You wanted to get a car battery and build it off of a car battery. So I'm like,
it wasn't enough voltage, I think.
You wanted me to sit here and hold a car battery while I'm watching.
And I would have put it in the trunk or something.
Speaking of car battery.
What about car batteries?
You
want to talk shit for a second? Let's talk about your fucking car battery.
No. Okay, I had a car. It was a Jeep, but it was a really old, beat up Jeep, like it was falling apart Jeep, and it was like the engine was falling apart, so I had to buy a new engine. But then I had battery issues. But of course, it decided it wanted to be at its worst moment when I was at John Michael's house, and the like battery.
It's also weird. So many people don't call me John Michael anymore.
What do they call you?
Everyone just calls me Johnny.
Fine.
At this point. But like everyone who knew me from high school still calls me John Michael.
Johnny boy over here. No.
Either way, you freaking park right behind like me or my mother or somebody.
Not the best place to park if you need to move your car.
Yes.
And especially if your car decides it just wants to shut off.
It was in front of a garage door.
But it's done it before, and I have like a battery pack thing that you like jump started off of. But of course it didn't want to work that day. So we're like, oh, we'll just jump start it off your car. But we didn't have long enough jumper cables. So we were like, why don't we just combine jumper cables and that'll work? So we do that, and we like started melting one of the cables. And
it didn't melt; it sparked.
But that was when your mom showed up, and she was like, "What are you two dumbasses doing?" We were like, "We thought it was a good idea.
We thought it was the only idea because like car batteries, your car battery, my car battery, both on the left side of the car, and you were parked so close to my house that I couldn't pull up and like reasonably get the car battery. The jumper cables were not long enough.
But it never crossed my mind.
Do you remember what we did?
I'm trying to remember. We pulled your car as close as we could.
No, we had to take the parking brake off your car.
Right.
And then roll it down a hill.
But that was the good idea, was to like just push my car back, pull your car in, and then jumpstart it. But I didn't think about that until after we were like, let's just combine jumper cables and that'll make it long enough. Like,
yeah, don't do that, kids. Like it might have worked. It also may have our batteries maybe a little bit shorter.
That car, I sold that car, but it was the process that it was like, let's do this. But if these two cables that we connected touch, we're dead. So
we're not dead. We're just gonna start a fire.
We melted something though. Something melted. It was like either the jumper cable melted or we started melting something.
I don't remember.
Either way, it was a horrible idea, and it could have all been
Was it like
fixed.
the cap of your battery?
Might have been something like that.
I don't remember.
All we had to do was just push my car back, pull your car in, and that would have been it. But
every ounce of stupidity that all of you watching this think that or listening to this think that me and Jake have, the chaotic energy we have, just take that, but also put like a bro-y energy on it for when me and Malachi are together. For some reason, I get super bro-y with you, like more than anyone else.
Super bro-y.
Yeah, I'm not a frat dude by any sense of the imagination, but like for some reason when I get around you, I'm just like, fuck yeah, football.
I don't know what it is. It's like we always come up with the stupidest idea. I don't come up with stupid ideas very often, but when I'm with you, I come up, like when we decided to go get that like pretzel crust pizza from Little Caesars.
That was awesome.
No, it was. Every story we have is awesome, but it's
these all sound like mundane things, but you got to understand that we're both very giggly, and it just becomes like this devolving, and neither of us know what the fuck we're doing, so we just continuously become like the simplest task of go getting a pizza became like this Homer's Odyssey epic of like stupid shit you have to go through to get to that point.
It becomes worse and worse slowly over time. Like, let's eat pizza before we go watch Endgame. Like, you would think that it's like, oh, okay, they're going to eat pizza. No.
And we ended up with 40 pizzas.
We ended up with like 3 boxes of cheese bread, like 20 pizzas.
We had a friend who, this was right before Endgame came out.
Right.
And we had a friend who was a bit of a numbers cruncher. And was a bit of a deal finder. So we ordered like, it was like Papa John's or Domino's or something. It was like Papa John's before he said the N-word. Like that era of Papa John. Like
it was way too much pizza to make a long story.
We ended up getting, it was just an absurd amount of, and there was only like 4 of us.
Right. And then we decided to eat it underneath a bridge.
Yeah, because we had nowhere else to go.
So we're eating it off of your car, which at the time was a Jeep as well, but a very, like, doesn't work either Jeep.
No, that Jeep's fine.
It wasn't until we got, like, we started driving off and we got up the hill and realized that your car wasn't even turned off.
You're thinking, yeah, there was a point where that car where the actual starter was messed up and I had to get a new one because I would be on like a highway or an interstate or something and that Jeep would just stop working. Like it would just be like, and off. And now I'm rolling and I'm like, well, let's hope I have enough momentum and speed to change lanes and pull off to the side of the road. And sometimes I did not.
But so we were just doing that like casually, like going up the hill and you were like, why isn't it going? You're like, oh, and my car's off. We're like, huh? You're like, hold on a second. You like hit something. It was like,
no,
and we kept going. And I was like, huh?
The way it started working was I would just like the fawns just fucking hit the top of it. And that would turn it back on.
But it would work every time.
No, it did not.
Oh, no, I guess it wasn't every time. There was sometimes
the longer this problem went on, the more likely it was to not turn back on. When
almost like you were breaking it.
Fuck, my sides are hurting.
It was just,
I had ab day yesterday and you're making me laugh.
Then there was that time that we like waited for like 2 hours.
You remember so many more of these than I do.
Well, they're like all rushing into my head.
Because all of this just every day for me.
It was, I'm trying to remember. We saw Infinity War and Endgame.
Yes, with like a group
with the same group, right?
Yeah, it was Endgame was even larger. It was like we took up a row of seating in
we took
Endgame.
Up a lot of people, right?
And we were waiting. It was like 2 to 4 weeks before Endgame came out, and we were just all on our phones, like trying to get waiting for tickets to come on. And I think we were in the middle of a class or something when Endgame tickets went on sale, and all of us like we text and we're like, they're on sale. Get them. If you can't get one, get someone else who can to get it for you and pay them back. It was like, I want to say we saw Infinity War with like 6 people, and then Endgame with like 9 or 10.
I'm trying to remember which one was which because we saw.
And here's another thing, me building shit. I built an Infinity Gauntlet.
That did happen.
And took it to the Infinity War premiere.
To the movie. One of them, we went to the theater and like all waited in line
for 6 hours
at this tiny theater, right? For like a good amount of time. We all sat
6 hours
on the floor and waited for
the
movie to start.
We were in line because we were making sure we got the best seats possible.
Right. We like left school, went straight there, and the movie was at like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we're all waiting there for hours, and like everybody that worked there got like very irritated with us.
No, they didn't.
No, they really didn't.
I still am friends with some of the people at that theater.
That's fair. But we were there for like quite a while waiting on this movie, and then there was the other one where we ate the pizza.
Yeah, that was a lot of food
on your car.
Yeah, we didn't take it in. We didn't take it in. We ate the pizza first, and then but there was so much pizza that we were like, well, we gotta go wait in line in this movie. Like,
it was Infinity War that we ate the pizza because you wore your Star-Lord jacket.
yeah, we were. That was high school.
Because that was when, like, we were all broken at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because, dude,
everybody-
I will never forget. Infinity War and Endgame were two of the greatest movies experiences I've ever had, partially because I was with all my friends.
Right.
But do you remember what happened after we left the theater? We were like the first, so we waited so long. We were the first group in to see the movie. And this
Right.
was on like a Thursday. Like, this was the pre-showings.
Right.
And they only showed like 2 showings that day. So, like, we were walking out as the next group was walking in, as you do at a movie theater. And we just see all these people who were just like us a couple hours ago,
Like,
in Infinity
very
War,
excited.
like super excited, and then you just see this herd of nerds
like
just
crying, leaving.
right, like just so emotionally destroyed after seeing Infinity War for the first time. It was just like, it was such like a moment. Like, I gotta give the MCU this. It's such a moment in cinematic history that you were able to like pull off this kind of like this moment of like you 21 movies or something leading up to that movie,
Right.
and then
proceeding to lead up to the death of Tony Stark, and you're like,
it was
deep.
It was so deep. It was a lot. And then so we were walking out of the movie theater. All of us just had tears in our eyes. And there was this one girl who came up to our group and was like, I came prepared, and handed us like this little like airplane package of tissues.
That's awesome.
And we all laughed and had a good laugh.
I'm trying to remember that. I vaguely remember. I remember the like moment when like Thanos snapped everybody away, and we're like sitting there because it was rough.
It was bad. It was real
rough.
bad.
Like,
that scene is so good because like it just keeps going.
right.
Because like in the Infinity Gauntlet story, it's just like everyone's gone. In Infinity War, it's like you watch them dust away.
You like see the group, and you're like, okay, who out of this group is about to be like poofed out of existence?
And they time it in. It's so genius because they time it in such a way that like every death is worse than the last. Because I think the first one you see is Bucky, which is pretty bad.
Right.
And then it just keeps going, and eventually you see like Groot in Rocket's arms, and then you get to Spider-Man. It's like the I don't want to go.
Yeah.
You know.
No,
like,
it definitely does.
you
Get
see
hard.
all the Guardians, and then freaking Spider-Man go down.
Right. Nah, it was a rough moment, but still great nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. I gotta give the movies this. Like that, they're doing a good job, and I haven't. Shang-Chi is out right now.
Right.
I haven't seen it yet. I need to go see it. I do. I gotta find a day to do that.
I heard it was good.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. I'm excited to see where everything goes next. I've been keeping up with the shows and stuff. I actually haven't seen Black Widow yet.
I haven't.
That was one of those. I'm just gonna wait to Disney Plus. I don't feel fully safe going back to a movie theater just yet.
That's fair.
At this point, it's like I think I'll be fine. Like I got my vax and everything, so I'm better off than like lunatics that haven't.
Right.
So like, I'm excited to see where everything goes next.
Right.
And like watching Loki and that stuff. It's like we're back to like the first phase. We're like, all right, you're setting stuff up.
Right.
You know.
Nah, it's definitely about the goodness. I have yet to see any Spider-Man trailers because I don't want to watch it and spoil anything for myself.
So I spent all of 6 hours trying to avoid it before I was like, well, can't avoid this, internet. So I just watched it.
See, I know a lot about it. Like, I know, like...
Spoilers?
Yeah. Spoiler. No. Like, I know that all 3 of them are involved. And I know
we don't know that is the thing.
Right. I saw a like movie like poster. I don't know if it was real or not, but it had all 3.
Yeah,
had
all the
three.
logos.
And then it had like 6 different, like it was Green Goblin, Venom, Doc Ock, you know, and Sandman. I don't know how
I don't think that was
realistic. Right. Yeah. I don't know how realistic any of that stuff is.
You know,
which is why I'm avoiding the trailer altogether. I'm like, I'll just figure it out.
Yeah, I have theories about the trailer because
Right.
there's certain characters they choose to show and there's certain ones they choose to leave out.
Right.
And I think my theory is pretty close. I really think I'm getting there. You know, because like you watch enough movies, you start to see a pattern.
Right. Which is why Infinity Game was such a like big deal, was because it was like Marvel broke the pattern that they had been keeping.
We didn't. It shocked everyone, you know.
Right.
You know, we knew it was going to be a 2-parter. I think. Maybe we didn't.
We knew that there was a second movie coming out because they had already promoted it. So we knew that there was a second movie, but we definitely didn't think.
Would you watch like a Lord of the Rings extended cut of Infinity War and Endgame?
Yeah,
I would watch it.
Yeah,
I don't know if it would be as good because the thing with Lord of the Rings, like, there's so much stuff there. Like Endgame, it's like there might be stuff they need. They had the Snyder Justice League, which is like 4 hours long.
Right.
And like maybe movies are just getting longer.
Which is good, because I felt like for a while there, movies were like only like an hour and 20 minutes long. And movies in the past used to be really
a movie
long.
is an hour and a half. That's a movie
fair.
in my brain. But there's a lot of movies that are like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. I was watching Goodfellas last night, and I'm like, it's 2 hours into this movie, and there's an hour left in this movie, you know?
But that's typically the good movie. The long ones are the good ones because they have so much story that they're trying to tell that they can't help themselves.
I just remembered another movie theater story.
What?
Do you remember when we went to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, it was just me. It was me and you, another couple that wanted to see the movie, and then another couple that was just like, let's just go do nasty things in the theater, and found that one.
Yeah, but
but we didn't see it. It wasn't louder. They were like in the back, but it was one of those things where
they
you
were in
like,
the back, standard area of the movie theater where you expect to see someone getting blown.
It was one of those things where we knew
we
we
didn't
aware. See anything, but it was one of those that we're like, all right, we know you're not here to watch the movie, so this is the only other logical reason.
Nothing. Yeah.
Or, I mean, for the most part, but
then there was like another couple like off, like in front to the left of us or right or whatever, and then like me and you, freaking super like these two huge dudes that've been going to the gym, just went to the gym, and now we go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and the movie's pretty solid. And
it's a good movie, but it's very like,
it's long.
It is,
and you feel the right time.
It isn't like super. It's not like any other Quentin Tarantino movie where you're like, what the whole time. It's not until the very end that you're like, what the hell is going on?
And then the thing I remember is the very end of the movie, where we see like the main gory bit of the movie. It's just me and you just going, oh, and like are just getting closer and closer, like almost hugging each other.
We're just
like
screaming.
That's happening.
And then what?
And then like the couple behind us who were like fooling around are just like, what the fuck?
What is happening?
What?
As we're just like slowly watching Brad Pitt's dog rip everybody apart, and we're like, what? I remember that movie specifically because we kept getting yelled at by the person that worked there to get our feet off the chairs in front of us.
There was no one in the theater.
There was no one there. No, every movie we've gone to see.
I don't think we saw it particularly late either. It's just that theater we go to isn't like particularly like, there isn't a ton of people that go there, but it's also cheap.
Right.
I think we also
easily
just choose
the best theater.
We also we always see a movie like Tuesday. You know, like no one's going to see that.
We picked the worst possible day. You're right. Well, the best possible
day,
but like the worst as far as like what the like cool time is.
And we wouldn't act all crazy and stuff if like there were a ton of people there.
No,
like then you're ruining it for. And like the people that were there were the other couple there was actually watching the movie. They were also going
right. I don't know. I think it's funny with that theater because we know so many people that work there that it's kind of like they know us. And like, I remember it got to the point because you wore that Star-Lord jacket so much, like it was either the manager or something always called you Star-Lord.
It would be like I would wear the Star-Lord jacket to go see the Marvel movies and stuff, and then the manager just ended up like calling me Star-Lord. Became the joke.
But borderline, we'd been there so many times. Like we've gone to movies and we've never had any issues. But for some reason, that one they could not stand that we were putting our feet up, like everybody does when you go to the movie.
That's not the weirdest nickname I've gotten. Did I ever tell you like how the name of this show started?
No.
So I've got to have told this at some point, but I was in university for like a brief period of time, like before COVID and stuff.
Right.
So, and like I went to school in a different state and everything.
Right.
So I was kind of like just being myself, starting to make friends and stuff, and really like express like, hey, I'm this wacky dude. Like very much like I like having fun, you know, and being like, I like being the life of the party when I can. I like. Not because I necessarily want the attention, though I may have that desire somewhere in my brain, but because I know that if I have energy, the people around me are going to match my energy, and then everyone's having a good time.
Right.
But the thing I ended up doing is there was like a magic show that was going on, and so we went to go see it. And this was like the first or second week of school. First week, I think. And we sat in the front row just because, like, I think they either we chose to or, like, we were, like, just the first ones there and they made you sit, like, row by row or whatever to fill it up. And I have a thing, and this happens a lot, where because I am a very tall person, and B, have a very recognizable hairstyle, I stand out exponentially in a crowd.
Yes.
Like, there's photos of us in high school and stuff, like group photos and stuff, and it's like a reverse Where's Waldo.
Reverse,
you know,
Where's Waldo?
Like, your eye is immediately drawn because, like, that's just what happens for some reason, especially when I was bigger. It's like, even though I wasn't at this point, the magician at one point in the show asked for a volunteer, and I was like kind of putting my hand up like, I'll do it, yeah, whatever, we were all doing it and whatnot, and he just went like, you long hair don't care up here, because I was just having a good time. And so I went up on stage, and so that's the birth of the name of the show. But like the birth of the nickname also, it became a nickname after that, because after I got on stage, and like I'm very comfortable on stage, he started doing his whole spiel. But, like, I was just having a good time, and, like, while he was in front of me, I would just kind of mimic his movements and stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Because I was like, you're going to make some pacha, I'll make some too. And everyone started laughing. I wasn't trying to distract or take from his show or whatever.
Right.
I feel like it was legitimately, like, everyone was having a good time.
Right.
And I think he even started to play it up. Like, he started to realize what happened and would, like, suddenly look back, and I would just be like, just doing nothing. So we do all the magic tricks and everything else, and however, whatever, like sleight of hand or whatever he's got going on.
Right.
But after that, I would go around campus and I would get like people shouting like long hair don't care at me. And like I would go to the coffee shop that was on campus that I would go to every morning. And like that became like a running thing with me and the barista. So that's where all this, like, that whole naming convention came from, because I was trying to think of, I'll give myself this. There's been some shows that we have made and also have not, never actually became anything. Maybe they will one day. But man, am I decent at naming things. You know?
Man, am I pretty good at naming. I mean, I feel like our movie name is pretty decent.
See, I didn't even come up with that.
Did I come up with that?
No, that was like I think it was like a Game Grumps joke or something.
What?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I just remember it being like, I mean, I feel like we can at least say the name of the movie.
Yeah, it was a Game Grumps joke. We wanted to make like a Kung Fury type movie.
Right.
But call it Hard Dudes.
But like DODZ.
Yeah. And that came out of like a kind of a I think I just told you that joke or something.
It was a joke because we started talking about the sequels. It wasn't the original movies. It was
but
the
I didn't
sequel
come up with
name.
that.
It was like Hard Dudes 2.
Oh yeah,
even
it was
harder.
Yeah, it was like the Die Hard movies.
But it was like Hard Dudes 3. This is getting uncomfortable.
It's like a good day to die hard, dude.
We're like Hard Dudes 4. I should probably go to the doctor.
Yeah, but that was a Game Grumps joke, and I just told it to you, and we just kept going with it.
And we got to the point where we were like, we should make a movie just so we can make a second one, and a third one, and a fourth one. And it was like, I came up with one of them was like Hard Dudes 5, erectile dysfunction, or something like that.
Oh, I could talk to you all day, you know.
I know. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
It's not a problem.
It's not a problem. It's not a problem. But I think we'll wrap it up here.
Sounds good.
We've told some stories. There's a lot of fun. Jake will be back soon. You're always welcome back.
No, I'll definitely come back. I've been trying to come up here since like the first episode. You told me you're like, I want to start a podcast. I'm like, all right, day one, that's going to be me. And then life was like, hey, psych, you're busy. And I'm like, dude, no.
Life hit me in the nuts the past couple months, you know. I'll tell this right before we end. Frickin', I've had to deal with every fucking area of bureaucracy and like in the past couple months. I've had to deal with credit cards, frickin' the TSA, or not TSA, but like customs, frickin' health insurance and hospitals. I've had to, like, life has just presented its way in such a way that I've had to deal with each and every one of these things right after another. And I'm going to be real. I want to live in the apocalypse where there's no society right now.
I've definitely thought about, like, I'm like, you know how fun, like, I have that mindset of, like, always planning if there was a zombie apocalypse. Like, where would I go? What would I do?
You know what my idea was?
What's your idea?
You know what I would do in the zombie apocalypse?
What?
Die. And then that's just like, well, now I don't have to deal with that shit.
Just die.
Yeah. That's my plan for the like, everyone thinks they're gonna be the baddest. No, it's just like I'm just gonna get eaten, and then like I'll probably eat someone else at some point, and then like
it's
I'll bite the ankle off some other main character. Like
I'm gonna be the main character that kills the main character. The main.
I would love to see that, like a zombie movie, but like it's like just the main character dies immediately, and then it's just him as a zombie for the rest of the movie.
Or even better, right? So like the whole movie, but like you think it's from the perspective of the like main character was like, nope,
no,
the zombie. That's definitely been done before.
It's got it. They kind of Romero did that in one of the later of the Dead movies. I can't remember. I get all of those movies' names confused because they're all something of the dead.
Something of the dead.
But
Night of the Dead.
Yeah, there's one.
Day of the Dead.
Yeah, there's one where it's like you kind of follow this like semi-sentient zombie through like I don't remember. Have you seen that we gotta end this shit, but have you seen that that Dave Bautista Zack Snyder film, whatever it is, the heist movie, but in the in zombie Vegas?
Zombie Vegas. No.
Okay, it's pretty good. I recommend it.
In zombie Vegas.
If just Google Dave Bautista, it's the only zombie movie on there, I think, or like the most recent one.
All right, bet.
It was pretty decent. And we'll leave you off with that. Thank you once again, Mr. Malachi.
Of course. I'll definitely be back.
He'll be back in the famous, to round it back to beginning, in the famous worlds of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead. All will be back.
Oh yeah, I have seen like that for Netflix.
Sing us off.
That was just like one note though. I don't know what song should I sing? I should sing the Family Guy song. That's the only song that I know of that's like funny, where it's like, I have $50,000 in credit card debt.